Alright, we just finished rivers and lakes, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the second part of our activity, and we're going to look at the regions of Wisconsin. We're looking at the 5 regions: Lake Superior lowlands, the western uplands, the central plains, the northern highlands, the eastern ridges, and lowlands. We're going to describe each area. So you're going to go back to your book, and we're going to look at the page that we'll start on, and you can see Miss Melsky's getting her pages ready. And it starts on page 11, and it says the 5 regions of Wisconsin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for some details that will help explain those 5 areas. 5 regions of Wisconsin. An easy way to describe a state is to divide it into regions or parts. For example, the eastern half of the state is mostly smooth. The western half is rough. In this way, the state is divided into 2 regions. Most scientists divide Wisconsin into 5 regions. Each one has a different kind of rock formation and landform. Lake Superior lowlands. This is the northern tip of the state. Now, I can also look at here, this picture, there's the lowlands. It has some rich soil, but some of the soil is red clay. Clay is not good for growing crops. So when I look back at my learning guide, and I have to think about what's special about the lowlands, this Lake Superior lowlands. So I go back in my text and it says, well, it has rich soil. That would be one thing. It has red clay and it's not good for growing crops. So you put what you think you need to remember. It doesn't have to be a sentence. It could just be words, just so you remember. Pause the recording and then we'll continue. The western uplands. This region is scenic, or pretty to see. Craggy cliffs line rivers that flow through valleys. What kind of words would we put there? What would describe the western uplands, the area that we live? So then you go back to your western uplands and make sure you put details there. Pause the recording and write your notes. The central plains. This region is fairly smooth, but it has poor soil. The glaciers left unusual rock formations in this area, such as the dells. So, this is where Wisconsin dells in this area. That's the central plains. What was interesting there? Well, it is smooth, not good soil, and it has rock formations. So you have to decide what's important. What should you remember? Put it in the box. You do not need sentences. Pause the recording, write your notes, and we'll go on to the next section. The northern highlands. This area is formed from old mountains. Now they are rolling hills. There are small lakes, marshes, and streams. Soil in this region is often sandy. It is not good for growing crops. What's important here for the northern highlands? Well, it used to be old mountains. There's lots of hills. There's small lakes. Soil is sandy. I don't know. What kind of details are you going to put in your northern highlands? Pause the recording and put your notes. Number 5. The eastern ridges and lowlands. This area has a mild climate and good soil for farming. Lake Winnebago and the Horicon Marsh are in this region. What are you going to say about this area? What's an important detail or details? Put those in the eastern ridges and lowlands. You'll put that in that box. Pause the recording if you need to take notes. Now the next part says, what do these maps tell you? So you look at these 2 maps and what really information do they give you? These maps tell me what? It has to be a complete sentence or sentences. Be specific, and there's spellings in your book. So really you shouldn't misspell some of those harder words because they are right there. Okay? Alright, so now we're going to go, after you do that, pause, do all that, and then we'll come back to the next section, which is the taking care of our land. Alright, taking care of our land. First, the land was untouched by people. Beavers chewed through the trunks of a few aspens to build their winter dens. The Native American people came and used small tamarack trees to make wigwams. The land lay unchanged under the winter snow or the summer sun. Then the miners came. They scraped the surface of the land and dug deep beneath it. Mineral waste from mining ruined some lakes and streams. Settlers came and cleared forests for farming. Lumberjacks cut down trees for building material. Paper companies bought wood pulp from the trees. The forests were almost gone. Cities along the rivers and lake shores emptied their sewage into the water. The water spoiled. The state industrialized. Factories released smoke and other pollution into the air. People realized they were ruining their state. They replanted the forests and cleaned up the lakes and rivers. They passed laws protecting Wisconsin's natural beauty and wholesomeness. Today, individuals and groups work hard to keep industries from destroying the land, air, and water. They watch to prevent pollution. Wisconsin's natural state is in good shape. People want to keep it that way. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at cause and effect. I gave you one of the examples. We're going to look at events that caused the land to change. What was the result or the effect of these changes? So because miners dumped waste into some Wisconsin lakes, it ruined some lakes. That would be the effect. Who caused it? The miners dumping things. If I look back at my text, I also see some causes and effects, such as the miners came in, they scraped the land, they dug, it ruined some lakes and streams. Some of the settlers and lumberjacks took a lot of the trees, cut down the forest. Paper companies took trees from the forest. Some of the cities emptied their sewage. That's what you flush down the toilet. Yeah, can you believe that? Pollution. Factories cause pollution. So I just gave you about 4 more causes and effects, but you only need to do one of each. Well, actually 2 of each, all right? That is the last thing. If you need to go back in the recording and double check your work, please do so. Here ends the recording. Make sure you put your name and date on the paper. Thanks for coming along on this Wisconsin adventure. Until next time, I'm out. Bye-bye.